Hey guys, Shinlox here, back with our blind playthrough of Solar Jetman. Last time we finished Planet 10, now we're on Planet 11, so we have 2 planets and the final showdown left, basically. I would assume, so gravity 56, diameter 39, so it's not too much bigger than the last planet, but the gravity's quite a bit higher. And I would assume the final planet, Planet 12, probably huge. I vaguely remember it. Like I said, I used the password or whatever when I was a kid. I remember it being ginormous, but who knows? We'll see. You know, the other thing is, I was thinking about, it seems like more, I would imagine there's more people that just watch video games instead of playing video games these days, which is really weird, because one of my coworkers does that. You know, he has a PS5, but he only really plays like 2 games. And that's not even often. Like, I saw him the other day, or I looked at my friends list, you know, on the PS5 the other day, and it was like, so-and-so, last online 8 months ago. It's like, okay. But he watches video games all the time. You know? And, I mean, he does it while he does other things, but it's like, it's very weird, because, I mean, I think it's an issue, because, like, a game like this, I feel incredibly tense playing it, but watching it, you're probably just like, oh, whatever, but when you're actually controlling it, it's totally different. You know? You're like, go there, and you're like, you know, me, I'm like, I mean, the person watching it would be like, oh, you just gotta go there, and in my head, I'm like, oh, I just need to go there, but the controls, I'm like, oh my god, the gravity is so hard, you know? So it's not, there's a difference between watching someone do something and doing it yourself, obviously. I don't know. It's just they're different experiences, right? And I don't know. But yeah, people will be like, they'll have opinions on the game when they just watch someone else play it, and I'm like, you really can't have an opinion unless you've played it yourself. So, I don't know. Alright, anyway. Very similar to 2 planets ago. We'll just explore. Explore with the default pod. New music, of course. Wow. Alright. I'm guessing. Yep. About what I expected. Nice. The music, I mean. Man, it's so good. How is the music so good? Like, it's epic, right? Oh my goodness. Oh. And I assume they did that intentionally, because it's like, hey, you're almost done. What is going on with the... Like, you get close to the surface and it just, like, sucks you down. It's insane. There is something over there. Okay. Oh, that? Yes, of course. Ah, damn. Oh, okay. That's fine. I mean, we got it. That's the key. Yeah, if you're not boosting, you're losing altitude. That's crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy. It's understandable. At some point, it's going to let go. There we go. Yep. Stick with it. Stick with the basic pod for now, just because... I mean, the shields would help. Man, especially because I'm, like, slamming into everything. Problem is, there's no telling, like, how much... I'm gonna use the basic pod for the easy stuff. Because there's no telling, like, how many times I'm gonna lose a pod once we go below the surface, you know? Aluminum lifted Krypton. Tribbles! 748. Alright. We have to go underneath now, right? Do we do smart bombs, or do we do star bullets? Let's do star bullets to start. Right, because there's nothing to the right, it's all to the left. Left, and then that splits into multiple things. Yeah. Man, just look at all those. You think any of those are a wormhole? I have my doubts, we'll find out. Right, so now the question is... So this is the... I mean, so I've heard the music for the final area, right? Oh my. And you know what I mean is the final, like, stage, when you actually have the warp ship. And that's phenomenal. God damn, look at these guys. Man, this is crazy. Whoa, I'm getting pulled in somewhere. Is it above us? Probably. Let's find out. Or is it just... Okay, alright. Get it. My gosh. Okay, well, I guess let's see if we can get this thing back. Get the money, you know? Xenon, Zip-On, Fluon, bananas. Awesome. Good little... Okay. Yeah, so my buddy, the one that just watches all the video games, he'll watch them without commentary. Which, I don't know if you could look at a game like this without commentary and understand. Because it is so, like, when I just, I just dropped that off, I just got a new pod right there, and I feel like relief. I'm just like, okay, thankfully, my fuel has been replenished. But just if you're just watching that and not, like, you probably can't even tell. I mean, there's some visual feedback, of course, as the thing's like swinging around. You can see the pod moving, but you might not understand what's going on, And so there's no emotional connection, Or I should say, there's no emotional connection with the gameplay itself. You might connect with the story, which is probably why, if I would imagine if there were no like Sony exclusives, right? Like the cinematic games. If there were none of those, if it was all just games like this, I would imagine streaming would not be as popular as it is. Or let me rephrase that, because I think streaming is still about the person. It's about me, for example. All this, like, you come here for me, ultimately. It's or you continue watching from me. The game might be the initial draw, but then, I'm the product, so to speak. But if it's just no commentary, if there's no commentary and there's no like Sony exclusive style game, like the cinematic story games, I would imagine those channels, the ones without the streamers or without the content creators, whatever, the zero commentary channels, they probably wouldn't exist. Like my buddy watching the games, he probably wouldn't watch them. Because he doesn't watch streamers. Excuse me. I don't know. Okay. It's very odd. It's just, life is weird. Okay, we'll try going to the right and getting those two. I don't know what they are. I bet one's a pod, if I had to guess. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh my gosh. Go, Star Bullets. Go, shoot them all. Kill them all, Johnny. Kill them. Okay, did we get them? Are they still shooting? Oh, the radiation! I mean, or, Like, I turn, I orient my pod, I fire the thrusters. And that's what's interesting as well. It's like, you have to turn. Like, you can't be turning while you fire the thrusters, or the boosters. Like, I'm using those. I cannot be turning my pod and firing them at the same time. I mean, I probably could, but you'd have to do, like, you'd have to control it like this. I hope the music for the last, Planet 12, I mean, is wonderful. Radioactives, yep. 750, awesome. Yeah, it was interesting, right? You sort of hang there for a second as your momentum dips, and then you just plummet. Yep, felt my, I'll say my back tighten. I felt my back tighten, not somewhere else. You know what I mean? Nothing puckered. It was my back. Everything was, yeah. Okay, woo. It's interesting. It's so interesting. It's like you get into the spot, you know, and then you go there, and as soon as you latch on, it freaking... It just like pulls you in a completely different direction. Whoa! I could have put my shields on, but like a moron, I did not. Okay, more crystals needed for a bonus life. Yep. So it's interesting, right? I was thinking about the electric state the other day, because I made a video a while back about the movie when they announced the movie was coming out, and I didn't even know anything about it. I didn't follow it or anything. I'm just from reading whatever you want to call it, the art book, the graphic novel, I don't know what you call that thing. I assume it's an art book because it's mostly pictures, right, with some minimal text. I didn't even know all the stuff about it. I just knew that they were making a movie out of it, and it was probably gonna suck, simply because you look at the art thing and you're like, oh wow, this is really slow, and it's very deep, and it's thought-provoking, and it's emotional. And I was like, they will not be able to make a movie out of this. You know, you have a bunch of retards and politics and everything else, and there's no way they could make this actually good. Almost no way. I didn't even know anything else about it, right? I just predicted it was going to be bad, because, I mean, that's, you know, because that's the norm, right? But anyone that actually was paying attention would have known immediately when they were trying to create, like, almost like a Marvel Cinematic Universe out of it, because it's unreal, because it's like the art book of the Electric State has the same emotional tone as like Schindler's List, right? And so to take that, like, oh, we're making a Marvel Cinematic Universe out of Schindler's List, people would be like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? But that's what they were trying to do. They're like, oh, look at this cute little robot. Let's make him the mascot. It's like, do you not know what the robot represents? You know? It's insane. Anyway. But it's funny, because I made that prediction. I made that thing, and I got some, like, there are people that was, like, nasty comments. They're like, oh, you suck. I thought this video sucked. I'm like, what? Keep sucking cock. Keep sucking that Hollywood liberal leftist cock. You know, I don't give a shit. These are the people, by the way, that, like, first off, anyone that's an actual fan of the book would not leave a comment like that. Oh, I think this video sucks. Like, wow, okay, here we go. Alright. I feel like one of these is probably going to be fuel. What? Whoa. Oh! Okay, what? There we go. Yep, it's just easier. Just use the star. As soon as I feel the gravity change, just use the star bullet. Like, is it changing here? I couldn't... Oh my god. Yep, it is. I thought that was gonna shoot it. But you basically have to shoot it when it's... I don't know. Yeah, that was sort of a weird tangent, being like, why don't you keep sucking cock? But there's so many people out there that just don't think. And there's such, like, brand loyalty, the fact that it's a thing at all, just... You know, like, I understand, it's bleak, like the Dune. The universe of Dune is super frickin' bleak, right? But I understand the Gum Jabbar. I understand the whole frickin'... Oh, we got anti-gravity thing. God, just get up there. You fucking asshole. There we go. Oh, but we got another one up here, don't we? Or is that just regular gravity? Oh, just regular, okay. But yeah, the Gum Jabbar. If you're not familiar with Dune, the universe of Dune is... it's basically post-apocalyptic. It's post... AI uprising, basically, is what it is. Which, you know, there's a quote that I love, which is, men turned their thinking over to machines, and that allowed other men with machines to enslave them. And all you gotta do is look, just right now. People used to Google stuff as an authoritative answer, right? Now they just check AI. Oh, AI says this, and it's like, dude, I use AI all the time. And it fucking lies to you. It straight up lies. It lies, and it's wrong, and it does not understand. It's basically a parrot. If you gave a parrot a little bit more intelligence, that's these AIs, right? So the fact that people are already checking them as if they're an authoritative source like that, dude, bad shit's coming. Bad shit is coming. Like, get ready. I don't even know what's coming, but I can tell bad shit is coming. You know, unfortunately so. Like, right now Trump's president, right? And he's done a bunch of stuff. But if you look at places where leftists have taken over, like New York, they elected Mamdani. And women predominantly vote leftist, right? And, but they do that. I'm not gonna... I could be hyperbolic or a hot take and be like, women vote left because they're stupid, but no, they just don't. Women in general have just been shielded from consequences. As long as people want their vagina, right, then as long as dudes are willing to sleep with them, then they are basically consequence-free. You know, and so as a result of that, they basically grew up. As soon as they hit puberty, they stopped maturing mentally, right? And so they grew up to become incredibly narcissistic and entitled. Not all of them, of course. Not all. But the majority. And even the ones that aren't don't really understand consequences because, like I said, they have life on easy mode because men will men will do whatever for them in an attempt to try and win their affections, right? And so women just vote leftist because it sounds good and they never have to deal with consequences. So they vote for Mamdani, and he's basically like, yeah, you know, I want to make non-penetrative sexual assault legal. Which, if you don't know, go look it up. You're like, no, he wouldn't. He would not do that. Okay. Move to New York. If you think I'm full of shit, move to New York. You know? It's like people that don't know, they're like, it cannot possibly be that bad. But whatever. I'll say whatever, and people will be like, it's not that bad. You're just a liar. You're just blowing it out of proportion. It's like, okay, do it then. I made the Metroid Prime 4 review, and people are like, it's not that bad. I'm like, go buy it. Because you know the person that is saying it's not that bad, they have no skin in the game. They haven't ponied up the $70+ to buy it, right? They didn't buy the fucking amiibo. You know? It's funny because, you know, like, I'll respond to trolls, people that leave comments, but I'm learning. Every time I do, I learn a little bit more. Not necessarily to not respond to trolls, but, you know, just learning in general. Because, like, well, what about this? What about that? Which way should we go? Should we go... Let's try going left, because I feel like right there's going to be more stuff, but yeah, the Mamdani thing, like all these leftist things, I don't get them. And by the way, I mentioned brand loyalty, how brand loyalty is stupid. It is. I'm not a Republican. You know, I've been voting Republican because of how, for the last few years, because of how fucking insane Democrats and the leftists are. Oh, wow. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, awesome. That is gas. Okay, so what was that? Fuel? Yep, okay, cool. Awesome. Let's see if we can grab it then. You know, and it's just, like I said, it's gonna get worse. Like, Trump's in power right now, so to speak, but that's not, doesn't mean anything. Not unless laws get enshrined or whatever, and that's really slow, that's not gonna happen, and even then, I don't agree with everything Trump's trying to do, or wants to do. I just think, like, especially when you look at Virginia, right? Like, they voted a bunch of Democrats into Virginia, and you look at all the stuff that they're trying to do. Like, they just put a bunch of, like, because, you know, they have a majority or whatever. And so they put a bunch of bills in, and those bills are like, okay, all these people that committed felonies like rapes and murders and stuff, we want to reduce their prison time. We want to reduce their prison time. We want to get rid of the minimum penalties, minimum sentences for felonies like that. And by the way, and I have to remind you, women primarily vote left. And so when Democrats the ones that get elected, say, hey, yeah, all these rapists, we want to let them out of prison. We want to remove minimum penalties for rape and sexual assault. Women don't think about this shit. And they think about that and they're like, well, that's gonna happen to someone else. It's fine as long as it doesn't happen to me. And it will. You know, it'll happen to somebody. I guarantee it happens to someone that votes for this shit. You know, but again, because they don't understand consequences, they're not gonna... And call me a sexist if you want, I don't give a fuck. You know? The whole being afraid of being called this stuff is the reason why we're in this position in the first place. You know? Because you stand up and you say, hey, you shouldn't be voting for this. And like, you're a sexist. It's like, whatever. You know, but sorry, I'll just say one more thing and then I'll shut up. Like, people are like, Trump won, yay! Society is saved. No, it's fucking not. This is the reprieve. This is the reprieve before things get really fucking bad. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am, because, like, this is the last gasp. Right? Because what's going to happen is everyone's gonna be like, yay, we won, and they relax. We won, and then they just, you know, then a bunch of Democrats get elected, and then, just like in Virginia. Oh yeah, so the Virginia thing. And who knows, maybe these bills won't pass, but as soon as Democrats in Virginia got a majority, they basically were like, yep, we want to remove minimum sentences for rape. We want to reduce the sentences in general of things like rape. Okay? We want to give all illegal aliens free education. Not you, not the people that voted, not the people that pay taxes. Other people. Other people from other countries. We want them to have stuff. One of the bills is that you cannot audit NGOs. You cannot audit NGOs for fraud. Like, what the actual fuck? All this money that you're gonna give these groups, you can't actually tell if you can't actually check to see if they're gonna spend it on where they say they are. So right. So you give all these Somalis, you know, stuff for kids. It's illegal to check to see if they actually have kids that are receiving the money. That's what they're trying to do. And it's like, what the actual fuck is going on with people? You know? And that's why, sorry, it's just the natural... It's the natural inclination. Sorry to go into politics if you don't like the political talk, but it's the natural expression or the natural conclusion of the AI stuff. Because people don't want to think. Thinking's hard. It would be far easier if I could just believe in this absolute authority that AI claims that it is, that it's 100% correct, and I could just, it's the computer. Computers can't be wrong. How could they be wrong? Right? What does it say? Oh, it says Democrats are not doing all these things. You know, I have no idea if it says that or not, but when I brought up just to finish my thought, I brought back around to the AI. I brought up the Metroid Prime 4 vagina doors, right? How all this stuff looks like vaginas, and it's clearly woke, right? You know, the alien species are axolotls, which is a more of a trans icon than a LGBTQ plus P icon, but it's technically a symbol for all of them, but it's more used by trans people. So the aliens are those. They're all, of course, the bisexual colors. You know, there's vagina doors, all that shit. But I brought this up to ChatGPT, and it's like, it was amazing. It did the political answer. It's like, there is no evidence to show that blah, 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 blah. you know, some people say that, but they're clearly gaslighting, or it's just a whatever dog whistle, blah 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 blah. And that actually got me to dig into the stuff more. But I think the average person would not do that. They'd be like, oh, yeah, AI says it, therefore it's true. So, I just think we're fucked. Anyway, so that's... Sorry, my black pill. But yeah. Anyway. So what can you guys do about that? You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna rent, I'm never gonna buy. Honestly, I think buying a house is probably the best thing you could do. Even though property taxes will go up, and they're going to, rent will also go up, because property taxes... Here's the thing, I don't know about all the situations. I don't know... I'm not, like, super learned, whatever you want to say, on all the economic stuff. But things change. That's what I can tell you, right? What I can tell you is that things change, and... Is this where the gas is? Okay. And apartment complexes also have to pay property taxes. Okay, oh, you cheeky devil. And so... So the answer is yes, that... So I was able to invest a lot of money by getting a small-ass apartment. And... God damn. I was able to save a lot of money by getting, like, a tiny-ass apartment and living there and putting everything else into investments. I don't know if we need to pull this. Because just the gas, right? Would we want to take this to the right? It wouldn't surprise me at all if this was the only one of these for this whole area, so it's probably a good idea. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Wow, why is it so heavy? Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. Is it always that heavy? Holy shit. Oh my god! My boosters are like maxed out right now. Okay, well, we're gonna leave that there. God damn. Okay, so yeah. I bet those things are affected more by gravity than other stuff. So let's, if we can, we might have screwed ourselves here. Because, yeah, I'm watching my fuel deplete. Okay, straight up, if we can. If we can. No, let's turn off the shields. Because we gotta save our fuel. Well, I mean, it was probably gonna happen anyway. Probably gonna happen. God damn it! Okay. Alright, star bullets. Titanium. Okay, let's just go back in. We'll stop for today. My, yeah, sorry about the political stuff and the rants. I'm not sorry about my positions. I'm sorry it overflowed into this. I'm sorry my issue is... My issue is I could see the path that we're on. And I understand how dumb people are, how lazy they are, and how complacent they can become. And, you know, the problem is it's just like... It's kind of just like the protesters, right? You see, like, Trump got elected, and you have all these people... And they're like, yay, Trump won, blah, blah, blah. And they think because there's a lot of there's more noise, right? Because they think there's more people speaking up that everything's fine. And it's like, no. The fact that we got to this point in the first place, the inertia is still going politically left, right? Look at Nintendo. For example, look at Microsoft or Xbox, right? Xbox just... They've had they hired a female CEO. And everyone's like, why is Xbox doing so terrible? Like I said, lack of consequences. Right? How much has Xbox been diverted towards diversity-related shit? Now, ever since the woman got in charge. I don't know. Is anyone looking into it? I couldn't tell you. You know, now Nintendo got a female CEO, or Nintendo of America, I think, now has a female CEO as well. You think that's going to work out well? Right now, as of the recording of this, people are like, oh, it's Kathleen Kennedy 2.0. And I'm like, I could have told you that. As soon as they said they were electing, or... I guess technically it's electing because the board votes, right? So technically they're elected. As soon as a woman was put in charge of Nintendo of America, I was like, yeah, of course. What do you think? You know, it's like maybe I'm wrong. Even the female, the one in charge of Japan, that's like that's like, we need to get rid of immigrants or whatever. Maybe that'll work. I mean, to be fair, it's the only thing that can, because Japan is cucked. Japan is so far left. You know, feminism has taken root so deeply that only a woman could save the country at this point. Japan, I mean. I mean, that's what's yeah. But I see the path that we're probably on, and I'm like, it's gonna lead to ruin, right? So, and I see all the complacency and all that shit, and I'm not even. That's the thing. So just let me finish rounding this out. I'm not Republican. I'm not conservative. People will brand me as such. They'll be like, oh, you're sexist, you're racist, whatever. It's like, no, I see people as they are. And I don't hate them. I accept them for what they tell me they are, right? And you could be like, oh, it's not racism, it's pattern recognition. Sure. Sure. Call it pattern recognition if you want. The minute people stop giving me shit for believing that the stereotype is true while they act as the stereotype depicts. Like, they're mad at me for believing the stereotype. They're not mad at the stereotype for being true. And as long as that's the case, things won't change. If you want people to not hate you based on your race, you need to change the stereotype. You need to act right, act differently. Um, and as far as all this, you know, yeah. As far as like saving yourself, because no one else is going to save you. The best thing I could suggest is probably buy a house. Like I said, property values are going to go up, but so is rent. The whole point is to let these mega corporations take control over everything, and then they're going to jack the rents up. Or leftist policies are going to implement rent controls and turn things into fucking like slums. And the only way to get any sort of financial control is to be in charge of an asset that doesn't go with inflation, if that makes any kind of sense. So you buy a house and you basically are like, hey, this is my forever home. And yes, property taxes are going to go up. But so is rent. And at least with a house, you have control. You have more control over it than you do over rent. Right? Because at least with them, at least with an apartment, you can't control when shit gets fixed or not fixed or whatever. And the prices are going to go up anyway. They're going to jack the prices up because they're going to squeeze you. Or it's going to deteriorate around you. Even if you're like a long-term renter and you get locked into a rate, maybe you'll be lucky, but they're going to jack the rents up for everybody else. Or it's going to get rent controlled and it's going to deteriorate around you. And yeah, chances are you're not going to be that lucky. So best you could do is get a house. Even though there's people that are like, don't get a house because, renting is cheaper. You get a cheap apartment and you can invest. And it's like, oh, it's like the house is going to be your bulwark against inflation. That's my thought. But, anyway, get a house and invest or whatever. I don't know. You need some sort of plan long term. That's the problem. The problem is the economy. Inflation's going to keep going up, and significantly, I would suspect. Especially if, as soon as another Democrat president gets elected, they're going to reopen the borders. And then you're going to have to pay for everything for all of these people. Your taxes are going to go up. Inflation's going to skyrocket again. Wages are going to continue to stagnate. It's just not going to be good. It's just going to be really freaking bad. And I don't know what the defense against that is. Like I said, you need a long-term plan, and I don't know if there is one. Maybe the plan is find a good job and expect to work until you die. Maybe that's the plan. AI is going to automate a lot of these freaking office jobs. I don't know what that's going to do to women. Except I would expect that it's going to they're probably just going to increase women's programs like WIC and all that stuff. They're probably going to try and institute a lot of universal basic income. But that's going to be worse because that's going to jack up inflation and taxes and everything else. If you're a guy, I would say, dude, maybe get into the trades. That's the only thing I can think of and be good. Get into the trades and be good at your job. Like, actually have standards, have discipline, care about your stuff. Or if you're smart, get into healthcare. Because I could tell you, like, you give me, people are like, oh, you're sexist because women, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, the job that I'm in, my exact work, all the women are constantly late. If you were to separate it by men versus women, men consistently have the highest quality of work. Men are there more. Men work harder. The women are the lazy ones. The women are the ones that are constantly calling out. And the problem is, you have the normies, the normal people, that are starting to be like, maybe women, maybe women are the problem, or maybe women are blah, blah, blah. They still, they're starting to come around. But when they do, that's how it's going to be for 10 years, right? Normal people don't they change their mind based on trends, not based on actual rational thought, unfortunately. They don't arrive at opinions because they've researched and come to this conclusion on their own. They're there because of culture. But I don't fucking know. I don't know what's going to happen. Just, expect it to get worse because it always does. That's what I would expect. And so you need bulwarks against inflation, whether that's a house, maybe the military, although I don't know if I would. Like, there's VA loans and other stuff, but I don't, I don't know, just because the president could turn around and, change, and then all of a sudden trans people are back in the military, and I mean, they're still in, but they were putting trans sensitivity over actual combat readiness. Right? They didn't care if you were going to go to war, and also they wanted more war. They wanted war, but they didn't give a shit if you were able to survive it or not, as long as you had, as long as you used the proper pronouns. Right? So, yeah, anyway, okay, that's my spurg out or whatever. Take care of yourselves, guys. It's a rough one. Actually have critical thought, plan for the future, all that shit. I don't know. I'm doing what I can. I'm putting out what I can out there. I'm following my own plan. Let's put it that way. Right? I'm trying to harden myself against the future, but who knows? Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Sorry this episode was basically all politics. It does make me a little sad. I'm sad, and I apologize that I took away from the game. I'm not apologetic for the content of the speech. Does that make sense? Anyway. Whatever, leave a comment. If you hate the stuff, if you hate all the political stuff, let me know. That's fine. That's totally fine, by the way. But if you like it, that's fine too. That's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, like I said, let me hear them. I do try and read them. I do try and respond to everybody. What's your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I guess, like I said, kind of the fact that I'm trying to harden my own future against entropy, I guess, against inflation, against rising costs, against all that stuff. I'm not just saying like, oh guys, you need to do this. Like, this is what I'm learning. I'm attempting to harden and improve my own life using these things, and what works is what I tell you guys about. I'm not like, seriously, I watch people be like, that claim to be economists on the internet, and they're like, don't buy a house. Houses are too expensive. The housing market's continuing to rise. Rent instead, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, dude, rent is going to go up as well. Like, yes, yes, absolutely. If you are going to get the shittiest safe, if you're like me, and I was living in what was my apartment? 600 square feet? I was living in a 600 square foot apartment. The cheapest one in a good area that I could find. And I've lived in a non-good area too. And the only reason I got that apartment was because it was literally across the street from the police station. And so I didn't see a lot of the drug activity that I saw in other apartments. And you could tell. Just watch the cars, right? I figured right across from a police station, generally less likely there's going to be like break-ins and stuff. That, you know, that's my thought. And that seemed to be the case. But, you know. So yeah, if you want an apartment, you want the cheapest one you can find, then, and you invest all the rest. Sure. Or get a house, something inexpensive that you can afford, and then find it in a good area and hope it stays in a good area. And then plan for that to be your forever home. You know what I mean? Those are options. But yeah, all these people being like, don't do this, do this. Like, I don't fucking know. No one knows. No one knows what 30 years is going to be. But what I'm telling you is what I'm doing myself. You know? So that's, and what seems to be working. What has worked for me. So, that's it. That's my new pause moment. Hopefully your guys just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, guys, take care.